All right. 9:15 on the dot. Let's get into this. It's another Monday. Welcome back to anybody who's here, or for those who will arrive. Let's talk a bit about the structure, overnight price action, and then take a look at the dashboard. And there's a tiny new feature on the dashboard. Basically what I've been, watching or paying attention to, we had last week like this, how many RTH? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a 5-day balance. And then in the run up to Nvidia earnings, we had a pretty bullish overnight session, and just that was basically a gap and go, like an opening drive, no interest to fill the gap here. And then we had kind of the earnings celebration. That was an overnight here, O period. But as I've learned over the years, which I didn't really respect kind of when I was starting out, and not to say that it's a guaranteed thing. Of course, nothing in trading is guaranteed, but when you get like a big excess, and how that looks, like this is the half-hour chart, kind of like a big push, and then price kind of just we closed here. Not only did we not even explore this at all in the next overnight session, we gapped down and we couldn't even get back up there. So that excess is, kind of typically shows strong resistance. You'd expect that if, let's say, even though the Nvidia earnings were good, you would expect continuation, at least tapping, for example, that's an old RTH. I should make sure we're on the NQ, but I think the VPOC is, okay, it's not on, it's only on MNQ, but you would expect at least price acceptance here, but we did not get that. Of course, that led to Thursday, a liquidation to fill the gap and then some. If you guys follow me on Twitter or on the Discord, I did get longs here, and also shorts on the next day. Both, in my opinion, not executed as well as they could have been. I could have held the longs longer, and I think I covered the short, not with the gap fill, but just to here to 150 or so, not really even to the previous day. So that's what's kind of got me all bared up, because then it got worse. The overnight, we couldn't even get into those single prints of that liquidation, the long liquidation. Friday was even worse. We had a gap down. Okay, they filled the gap, but they couldn't even take out the overnight high. So for me, all fairly bearish signals. And here we are once again, down near these swing lows. So that was from the beginning of February. This was the 17th, and now we're here beginning of March, kind of pushing down to these lows. So got about 10 minutes here till the cash open. So let's look at what we did, or what we've been doing this overnight session. Big as a Globex gap down. An attempt to fill that gap. I think we just missed. Yeah, they're about 40 points shy of filling that gap, this swing high here. And then from this attempt to fill the gap, we just liquidated all through Asia. This is the European first half hour. They got one last push down to new lows, and then since there, decent bid. And now gets a little bit to the exposures that I'm looking at into the RTH Open, and that is on the 600 strike. So once again, we've seen it many times. Again, on the Discord, I talk about it a lot. Like 600 has basically been, you could even argue like the past, like all this balance and these swing lows, you could argue almost like 600 has been the pivot throughout the whole thing. Even with this, pop out of balance, which on the next day, we came right back into this balance. Now it's a question a little bit for me, if where we are now, is this considered a break of the low balance? Or do we include kind of this whole range from like 610 down to, let's say 94, 93, if that's the true balance. For me, the tighter balance was within here, especially on futures. So, knowing this market, I wouldn't be surprised if they push us back into this chop range. But things look pretty weak, but it also is the first trading day of the month and crazy things can happen. But yeah, the 600 strike is actually, I think is about 727, 727 on futures. So maybe a bit lower. Let me just double check that level. So 600 is just below. Let's see, that swing low on whenever it was last Wednesday. So just above that bottom wick. So let me double check this level. So it's maybe even a bit lower. It's maybe something more like, you could just say 700 as like kind of the reference on futures. Yeah, perhaps around 700 almost. So at least in the overnight, that strike is looking like pretty solid ceiling. And it's also what's accounting for, at least in my opinion, the chop. Because we have it's even anyway already shifted down to the 599 strike, but it was a battle for between Vanna and Gamma, as we had those like pretty violent like bids. Then these positive Vanna strikes, as VIX falls and IV falls, they become a magnet. But at the same time, you have the overhead Gamma kind of like causing dealers to sell into that magnet. So you have them kind of conflicting, which is somehow responsible for this kind of expanding range. So to make a long story short, kind of let's review the bear and the bull case. So the bull case is and has been a pretty decent strategy for a while now. When we gap down, buyers make an attempt to fill the gap, or you can argue that it's a inventory correction story. Just like on Friday, we gap down here, little poke below the London lows, the EU lows, and then we bid up a good, 300 points. The issue here is if we do go below the London lows, that's a good 200 points below, and by then the momentum story could be enough where there's no interest in filling the gap, or we could just print right off of this 599 into negative Gamma and rip up at least to cover the gap up at 780, the gap down. Could definitely see that happening. And then continuation points to the upside would be, of course, overnight high and then previous VPOC. I think Friday's high is a lot to ask for, but who knows? Then, of course, the bear case, in my opinion, as I've been saying, is a bit more, kind of a bit more my bias, but I typically don't really trade my bias. I try and trade what I see in price action and order flow. But just like, it's been frustrating having us chop in this range, and we're still in this range. To be honest, we kind of bid those swing lows again. And my issue is like, I always feel like it's kind of like a cheat. So how much time? I got 5 minutes. It's a bit of a cheat when the lowest point is some overnight session. Feels like there's unfinished business, especially down here. There's unfinished business when it's not hit in the cash session. So I've been keeping an eye on VIX. Seems to be bid off of kind of Friday's profile. So they didn't even close that VIX. We had a big gap up. And there seems to not be interest in closing that gap. So if VIX stays bid, that's another argument for the bear side, kind of around, let's say 2270 or so. I mark 22 as kind of like, if vol sellers can get us below that, then we could see that gap fill scenario. And then of course on the downside, would be to hit those lows and then perhaps explore a bit of this unfinished business below, as far down as 42,200. So the new feature I was mentioning, we added a little like a prompt generator to the AI analysis. So when you're in the live symbol dashboard, this will create a prompt with basically the moment you click, any moment that you click it, it takes all of the live exposures on all the live strikes, creates this big, like sort of system prompt. And it in my opinion, needs some refinement. But what I like to read is like the final synthesis. So, it corresponds to kind of what we're looking at. Like, if vol response is neutral, the dominant mechanic is positive gamma dampening. Like we're opening right at the gamma wall. The most important gamma flip, I mean, it's shifted a strike down now, but basically same mechanics. And then, upward acceleration into negative gamma. We would need to see IV, like an IV crush. And then, a straight sell-off is probably difficult just because of this configuration, which is it's picking up. You would need both spot down and IV down, which I don't know, in this environment, I don't think so. But it'll just be difficult for them to eat through this positive gamma, which picks up the further down spot has gone. I've been watching overnight. These pick up a lot more in relative exposure because of course they're coupled to spot. So, but let's see. I saw the 595 pick up. Like as soon as spot gets down into like the low 498s, you see it shifts depending on like where spot and vol is, of course. We got about 2 minutes here. But 495 is like this swing low. It was the VPOC earlier, the overnight VPOC. There were some huge orders down at, you can see it on the volume profile here at 508. So I could definitely see us revisiting that. But let's see what happens. To be honest, I'm a bit nervous going into this session. Like we have like this expanding wedge, so I don't know what that means. I don't really know where this market wants to go. And VIX is at 23. So I said I was going to size up. I did really well in February, but with this vol, I'm happy to be sitting on just one single lot, smallest size. If I even see anything. So we got about 20 seconds till the open. Let me drop down here on the 1 minutes on both instruments. And let's see what they want to do here. All right. So market is open. Initial top wick here. Pretty messy. And looks like for now at least they want lower. Let me just refresh these TPOs here. But yeah, if we start to flip into okay, so the surface has already changed significantly, but they're gonna have to get us above that 600 strike here. And then we could move up potentially to 605, which I believe that's even beyond the gap fill. Those are the swing lows. So I've already basically missed an entry here. Let's see if they want to revisit. Yeah, it's just gone. If they were to retap the 600 strike. Which is like the 700 level. But it's just straight up. That's nice up through VWAP right after the 1 minute opening breakout. So beautiful, beautiful setup. I would expect not a straight shot up, but up to 605. But they really need, I mean, if we get new lows on VIX, I don't see why 605 can't act as a pretty strong magnet for both from a gamma and a vanna perspective. But basically buyers can't fumble. So they basically filled the gap there in the first 3 minutes of trading. Let's see if there's interest to continue. 605 are these, let's see, these guys, these swing lows. Let me go back up to the 30-minute here. Up to here, so 878. On the profile, that is just up here, yeah. So kind of the beginning of the stem here. Yeah, they've been moving VPOC up. Not yet on NQ, but probably in a second or two. So yeah, tricky. The gamma surface changed like immediately as soon as the market opened. But mechanically, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't, as long as Vol's VIX is making a new low, so I don't see why they wouldn't tag 605. But in terms of an actual entry, kind of toast there. So next level of watch would be this like 878. So already almost $604. And what I've noticed also recently is if you have a big dominant strike, sometimes what happens is you get like within, on the equities, you get within a few cents of it, and you already start to see those hedging effects, like the mean reversion effects of that gamma wall. So let's see what happens. So how high did we get here? 603.87. So I still think we could get into 604s. Don't see why that would be a problem. Yeah, VIX just falling off a cliff. So up into 604s. So we said if 878 is 605, could be tough, a bit of a tough wall to break. So let's see what happens up here, and if anything's reflected in order flow or price, to see if they want to try and chew through that wall, or if it really is going to offer some tough resistance, overhead resistance. Is that 787? So my calculation's a bit off. I think we're a bit, 605 is a bit higher. Let me take a look here. 604. This is just the start of the power hour on Friday. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. So not quite. It's just about 892. Okay, so they offered 604 already. Now back to the downside, as we've seen before, like failed breakouts in A period would be looking at 600. So back down around here, like 24,700. But still looks pretty strong. And I forgot to mention, of course, we have news at I think in 2 minutes. Sorry, in 5 minutes. Then again at 4. So could definitely see the market take a breather here. Okay, so there's some resistance here. The problem is the size is just crazy. Like even if I were to try a short here, to put my stop above, we're already, it's 85 point stop. So I guess the tell here would be VIX, which is, VVIX is just wild. Like, we went below 22, now they're pushing already 22.5. So it's just the volatility, vol is also very high. That's what I've been noticing. Looks like they're backfilling that pretty well. Basically what I'm watching right now is I just want to see if they do want to tag 605. They got within 26 cents of it in equities. So for me right now, it's just a question if they want to make this a magnet, if we overshoot and then chop, or if we're already going to hedge, if they're already going to hedge against that as overhead resistance. Order flow perspective looks a little bit weak. And then to the downside, a little bit of a gamma pocket down to 600. And if we get, if we really get a spike up to like VIX, who knows, 24, 25, that can fuel us down to 595, which is this swing low. So I guess my ultimate take is this is a much more vol driven market right now. So if VIX picks up or drops off, those Vanna levels are much more dominant than the gamma. And I've been watching that overnight. Like if we get a spike in vol, like Vanna just shifts completely. Gamma levels just shift completely. So I'm trying to build some tools that make that more clear. For now, it's just kind of like a feeling from using all these charts, but trying to figure out a way to make some sort of like combined indicator. It's just very, very tough with these like feedback type mechanisms to display that. But I think we can wait for the news in 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna probably hop off. Unfortunately, I think the best trade I completely missed. But I probably here was pretty awesome, like clean cut through VWAP right after the 1 minute breakout. Tough, not even a pullback to get an entry, but that would have been good. For 100 points plus. Tough was just noticing that the gamma surface changed immediately, like right at open. Didn't pick that up fast enough. So I got PMI in 2 minutes. And it seems like, I mean, basically right now, any pickup in vol, and we're gonna go right back down to 600. If Vanna effects can overtake gamma, because they kind of sold pretty far off. Yeah, we're $2 away from 605, and the further we get away from there, the weaker it gets. So it's this constant battle between gamma and Vanna, at least at the beginning, at the opening. They also can't seem to break VPOC here. But okay, numbers in about 5 seconds. pushing highs. Let's see if they tag. Let's see if they can tag 605 on the Qs. Then I guess after 605, you'd want to get the like that open to close gap, as sometimes they call it, up to like 607.36. But yeah, where was the close on futures? Like 950 about, but that's with the overnight. Yeah. Still a bit of a 874. Just seeing if I want to set up a short here with like a tight stop. Problem is we have more numbers in 15 minutes, which is annoying. Because otherwise, I guess like the last line of defense, so to speak, is the value area low from yesterday, from Friday. Then above there, like if we accept into there, then I don't see why we couldn't get the VPOC of Friday. But it looks pretty strong right now. If they want just a tap of 605. You see, like as the closer we get there, just struggles, price slows. So I get close. 20 cents. Could see some selling here. Let's see if they want 900 here. I can I'll try 900 short if they want it. Like a tight stop above. Yeah, like no more than 10 points. This so far looks decently strong. So did they get it? 604.99. Okay. Problem is they might, yeah, if they just rip through, it's always tough. But this would be nice. Then 100 points is targeting like that initial chop low. Let's see here. So definitely some but I don't know. It's too strong. I'm just not seeing like heavy sells. I think I would need like confirmation. Did we tag? Did they tag 900? No. They left like a tick, at least on MNQ. And same on NQ. So I wonder if that was my chance there. It would take a while to, I mean, we got some decent gamma there too. Then if they re-offer, then yeah, 600 is back on the table. If it fixes bid again. So, see, did they cover that VIX? If there's even such a thing as VIX gap, 2175. Not quite. So, yeah, that might have been a decent trade, but surprised they didn't. I figured that would have been a liquidity magnet, the nice round number up there. But let's see how it turns out. So yeah, I think I'm gonna close this down pretty soon. Just to review what we saw. Basically, immediately at open, the gamma structure changed. 605 became the magnet, and we printed literally, like both on futures and the equities, like 1 cent short of that. And it does seem to be offering a bit of resistance here. And yeah, if this sell picks up, if they basically resell this big bid, then I don't see why like we don't see 605 again down here at like 700. So all right, looks like the first no trade stream. Might be a little bit shaken up about the vol, but yeah, some trade ideas, and was happy I could share the new like the AI insights. And as always, I think it's much better to inform yourself first do some reading. There's a lot of good blog posts by like Sam Carson and folks like that on these flows. I would study those before kind of just taking this AI stuff at face value. It's always a pretty dangerous thing anyway. So looks like here battle for 605. But yeah, sometimes the best trade is no trade, even though I probably should have taken that 1 minute breakout, but missed it. Market's too fast. All right, guys, take care, and I will see you all next Monday. All right, bye-bye.